welcome to What Makes Us Human podcast,
Well,
a space where we talk about all our shared experiences that make us human.
my name is Pia, and I am the owner and a therapist at Transformation Counseling Services.
And my name is Ayanna, and I'm a certified life coach here at Transformation Counseling Services.
Great. So let's get started. Ayanna, what are we talking about today? What's on the menu?
Well, I'm excited, Pia, because it's our first episode. And
Yes,
so
it
I
is.
feel like we just need to get into what we created this podcast for and what makes us human.
So tell us a little bit more.
Okay. So, as we mentioned, we work together at TCS and we wanted to create a space where we can come and talk about various topics, various things, shared experiences that connect us all in this human experience that we're all going through. We all have unique lives and unique challenges and unique things that we are going through, but very much so we have shared experiences as well. And so Pia had a wonderful idea and said, hey girl, let's talk about it. And so that is how What Makes Us Human podcast came to be. And I'm so excited to be sharing this space with my girl Pia and with all of you.
Yes.
And let's get into it. Pia, what makes you human?
That's a loaded question. Because for a long time I felt like I wasn't operating from a human space. And I say that meaning I was operating like a superwoman, right? Doing everything for everyone except for myself. And it's not until I got sick that I decided and that the universe said, I'm going to sit you down and you're going to do for yourself, right? You're going to be that same person you are for everyone else. You're going to be that for yourself. And in that period of time, I actually started to reflect on my Superwoman Syndrome. And I learned to give myself grace, right? That's one thing that makes me human. Giving myself grace, understanding that I can make mistakes, understanding that I can say no, right? No, just no, period. That's it. I don't owe anyone explanations. I don't need to let me see when I know that I can't. I can just say, no, I can't, right? Or no, I don't want to, right? So those are a few of the things that make me human. I think just taking off that superwoman cape and understanding that there's fault in everything and everybody. And just because, I show maybe that there's fault in something I do or I don't achieve my goals, that doesn't make me less than, which is where I was before, right? That made me a failure. Doesn't make me a failure. So I would say that mostly giving myself grace.
Absolutely. I love that answer and so relatable,
Yeah.
Listen, the things that and we here are sitting in front of people as two Black women, and we understand that a part
Yes,
of
we do.
some of our upbringing as being Black women is the superwoman. I can do all things.
Yes.
Hear me roar. Conditioning that we honestly is a shared experience. And I totally agree. I didn't give myself a lot of grace in the past. And, I took on a lot and held myself responsible for a lot. But I think what makes me human is my imperfection, is the fact that I'm not perfect, is the fact that I make mistakes, is the fact that I am a being that is forever learning and forever evolving and forever growing and expanding. What also, I think if I had to respond to the question about what makes me human is my capacity to love, my compassion, to first love myself, which I love that you mentioned. You had to be sat down for you to have some self-compassion for yourself. And I can totally relate, like when life be lifing, as I said.
Yep.
And you have no choice but to surrender to whatever circumstance you're going through and just go through it with grace and understanding that it's a season of circumstance. I think that helps you realize your humanness. And for me, I realized I was human when I stopped trying to do God's job in my life. When I stopped trying to be my own God and will my way, and I moved out the way, is when it was like, oh, okay, there's something bigger than me. There's something more so knowing and in charge than I am, and I'm okay with that. So I think
Yeah.
that's what makes me human.
Yeah. And also learning to show vulnerability, right?
Mm.
We don't always have to be stern. We don't always have to be tough. We don't always have to be the rock, right? It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to be vulnerable.
Ooh, girl, now you touched on something because and I listen, I tell my clients all the time, and this is what I love about the work that we do. And I don't know if you share this experience with me, but me in a therapeutic setting, when I'm sitting across from a client and they're going through their own experience, it mirrors experiences I've had. And I tell my clients all the time, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to receive help. And I'm literally preaching to myself because I have an issue receiving help
Yes.
and asking for help. I always be like, I got it. I can do it. I don't need nobody, or people are going to let me down anyway. So let me just figure it out on my own. And this is the narrative and the conditionings that we have created for ourselves, maybe because of past trauma and past experiences, that you have to be self-sufficient. But I think a part of the human experience is needing other people, like you said, needing other people, relying on other people, and being vulnerable enough to admit that. And so that's tough for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is tough. And what happens is that I speak to a lot of clients, and they'll say, well, no one's there for me. No one is around. No one treats me like I treat them. When I need something, no one's there. And I ask them, well, in the past, have you allowed yourself to be vulnerable and talk about your needs? Because people can't read your mind. If you don't let people know what you need, they are going to give you what they need, what they would want to see, right? Not what you need to see. So we need to be very specific when asking for help. Ask for what we need, right? That's the only way you're going to get it. Don't sit around talking about what people don't do for you if you don't ask them to do for you.
Okay, listen, I'm going to add a snap right there. And that's a snap moment right there, because that's the truth. I tell people all the time, I am not a mind reader. I might be in tune with you. I might be able to be, have some perception that something is off, but I really can't read your mind. And if you need something from me, you have to learn the skills to communicate it. But it is a skill. Communicating your needs is a skill, and not everybody has that skill. Most people do not have that skill. And so I talk a lot to my clients around how to best communicate what it is that you need from other people, whether that be through boundaries, whether that be through clearer ask, whether that be through compromise and through showing grace and through opening space for tough conversations to happen. But it is a skill to learn to say, I need you in this way right now, or I need this. And the more you practice that skill, the easier it becomes to get your needs met in a way that works for you. It doesn't mean that people don't care because they don't show up in the way you want them to. Like you said, some people just don't know that I'm not showing up.
Yeah.
I tell people
Or
that
they
all the
think
time.
that they are.
You got to let me know.
Exactly. Also they might think that they are showing up, by sending sending a text message or making a phone call.
Right.
But this person, how their needs are met is people actually showing up, right? Coming in person. So I think I'm showing up for you as a friend and giving you what you need, because this is what I would need. I would need phone calls and text messages, right? So I'm giving you what I know how to give you, but you have to tell me what you need.
That's it. I often use the analogy of capacity when talking about relationships of all natures, not,
Yeah.
romantic, platonic,
Mhm.
friendships, family relationships, even coworker relationships or professional relationships. I talk about capacity and I say we have to understand that everybody has their own level of capacity of
Yes.
awareness, of understanding, of compassion, and love. And you might be showing up as a gallon. You have a gallon worth of love, a gallon worth of empathy, a gallon worth of understanding, a gallon worth of capacity. And you may come across somebody that only has 8 ounces.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that they don't possess it. It doesn't mean that they don't
Yes.
have compassion and empathy and all those things that you possess. But you have a gallon worth to give and also a gallon to fill. And you're sitting across from somebody that only has 8 ounces and all they can give you is 8 ounces. Does that make them unworthy because they don't have the same capacity as you? No, that's just the capacity that they have. And we have to understand that that saying, and I know it's cliche, meet people where they're at, but that's the truth. You got to meet people where they're at and meet them at the level that they have to give. Now, can people expand? Can people grow? Absolutely, if they want to, if they are willing to. But you can't control that. You can't control anybody else's experience. You can't control anybody else's capacity. But you have to understand that not everybody loves the same way as you. Some people were taught to love out of a sense of survival. I gotta react like this. I have to interact like this because I gotta survive. Like they're in their survival brain. They're not thriving right now. It's all about survival. So they may do some things to you that are harmful, that are selfish, that are rude and disrespectful, and those things might be true, but they're coming at it from a space of survival and you're coming at it from a whole nother space. And so I think in the human experience, when we try to lead with grace and understanding, it helps us better interact as humans to one another. I really believe that.
So, Ayanna, in all that, I also wanted to touch upon something that you spoke about, and that
Mm-hmm.
is why sometimes people aren't able to express what they need. Right? Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about where the origin of that comes from. You know,
Mm.
I know,
Okay.
speaking from personal experience, growing up, I was always told you don't need that, or you have everything you need: a roof over your head, food in your mouth, and clothes on your back. You don't need anything else, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I learned not to incorporate that word in my vocabulary. I never said I need XYZ,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I just be told that my needs are being met through shelter,
Mm-hmm.
food, and clothing. And so, of course, that came with me as an adult. I never learned how to say, until I started therapy myself, this is what I need, right? Because growing up, I was always told I had no needs, all my needs were being met.
Right.
So, I mean, that is one example of why it might be so difficult for people to be able to express, right? It's learned behavior, it's trained.
Yeah. You're absolutely describing conditioning, and we are all conditioned. I remind people all the time, you were raised by somebody who was probably mishandled and conditioned
Exactly.
to repeat that mishandling of you.
Mhm.
You were raised by somebody that was probably scarred and traumatized and taught to repeat that trauma onto you. So yeah, this whole superwoman, do it all on our own, don't need anybody for anything is absolutely a result of our conditioning, and maybe even deeper than that, a result of our trauma, because
Yes.
maybe you were a child growing up who communicated your needs and then they were intentionally disregarded, and you experienced neglect and you experienced abuse and you experienced repeat disappointment to the point where you have now told yourself, because this is where we get into the narratives we tell
Exactly.
ourselves,
I call it the stinking thinking.
The stinking thinking. And I call it, listen, I just say it's the narrative. It's the narrative that we tell ourselves, where you now have told yourself, you have made yourself believe, because of past experiences, that you can't depend on anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I tried to open up my heart to my dad, and my dad disappointed me. My dad never showed up when he said. My dad wasn't accountable. Or my mom was always angry when I would say I needed something, or everybody else got and I didn't get. So you decide to tell yourself and believe.
I experienced physical abuse.
Or I experienced physical abuse. Right. So actual harm was done to you when you were expressing your needs. And now you believe that you don't even have the right to need. That you just, I got to figure it out. I have to, like, struggle has to be a part of your experience. A lack of support, communal support, has to be a part of your experience, that you are in this journey on your own. And I choose to believe there is no reason why I don't even know how many billions of people are on this face of this earth, but it's a lot. Why there's so many people here and I'm supposed to do this all by myself? I refuse to believe that. You know, I know I'm needed. I know the people in my life need me, and I know I need them. But like you said, we have to do some work to get to that point.
Yes,
you had to go to therapy yourself to work through the fact that all of your life you were conditioned to believe that the bare minimum necessities that you had was enough.
That was enough. I mean, this was also in the 70s, right?
Right.
So parenting looked a lot different, which that's one thing that we'll discuss in further.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Right? Yes, so it looked a lot different then. Yes, I come from the era of
your parents, because your parents had their same shared conditioning and trickled it down to you.
Yeah, yeah. Where the children should be seen and not heard, kids.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah. And so vocalizing what you need, vocalizing what your feelings are, right? That was a no-no. Feelings, oh
absolutely.
My goodness. No, you didn't have the right to have feelings, right? Your feelings were, I'm happy because I got a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and food in my mouth, right? I mean, and I had fantastic parents. You know, but that was just the mentality. You just didn't express these things. Children should be seen and not heard.
Absolutely. And it has to be unlearned. I have to say, you know, touching on that, and we're not going to get into parenting too far, but for me, in my parenting journey, it is a constant unlearning of my triggers and my trauma. When I look at my children and when I interact with my children, I am constantly unlearning my conditionings, my traumas, and my triggers through my children. And it's not always easy. It's actually quite a challenge sometimes, because you're like, dang, why do I yell so much? Why do I lose patience so much? Why am I so frustrated? You know, why
you were handled.
Yeah, but it was how I was handled.
Exactly.
It was how I was treated. And so I have to break those cycles that I know are harmful, but it comes with a lot. You know, we carry a lot of baggage with us in this human experience. We pick up things and we carry them along the way. And sometimes we pick up that stinking thinking. Sometimes we pick up a sense of scarcity. Sometimes we pick up a sense of unworthiness. Sometimes we pick up a sense of being unloved, and we carry that through our human experience. And we have to learn how to put those things down.
Well, you know, here's the thing. We not only carry our baggage, right? We carry the baggage of our parents, who carry the baggage of their parents, who carried the baggage of theirs, right? So by the time it gets to us, there's a lot of suitcases.
Ooh, Lord, the bag is heavy.
Those bags are heavy. Isn't that what Erica Badu was saying, bag lady?
Yes. Come on, bag lady. You gotta let it go.
Back. Yes, let it go.
Carrying all the bags like that. Okay?
So we're born into this world with baggage, right? Wow. If we have caregivers that have not addressed their own trauma and unpacked those bags, we come into this world with backpacks or
Wow.
suitcases or trunks, right? Depending on where your caretaker is, whomever raised you, depending on where they are. That's where we start.
Child, you just checked me. I'm over here like, Lord, I gotta unpack some more bags for my babies.
Yeah.
I feel checked, but you're right.
Yes.
You're right. You are right. We come in carrying bags. That's
Yes, we do.
a shared experience in
That's
this
a
human
shared
world.
experience.
We
Yeah.
come in carrying the bags of our
Mm-hmm.
predecessors,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes sometimes it can get to the point where it feels more heavier than you can bear.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I think this is a profound point to like dive into. And we're almost at our end mark. So I think like this is a perfect closing as
Yes.
to why we do the work that we do. Because we help people unpack those bags.
Yes, we
We
do.
help people pull out of those bags and sort through them and discard of what is no longer of use to them and hold on to what serves them and add new things into the bag. Add new skills, new coping techniques into their bag to make the load a little lighter. Like that's the work that we do.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And
So
so,
go ahead.
with that being said, Ayanna, I guess we should close out. Tell people how they can reach you.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, if you're interested in working with myself or with Pia, please make sure you're following us on Instagram at Transformation Counseling SVCS. That's our handle on Instagram, and we'll make sure we'll put it at the bottom. And you can also go to our website to book a free consultation to work with any one of
Yes.
our amazing clinicians. And we have a wonderful staff. And if
Yes,
you
it's
want to
about
follow
7.
me directly, I am on social media under Harriet Returned, ED at the end of Return. And I'm on all of the platforms under Harriet Return. So if you want to follow me directly, hit me up under Harriet Return. And
Yes.
Pia, where can they find you?
They can find me on the website.
And our website is transformcounselingservices.com. Sorry. So that's
Yes.
TRANSFORM counselingservices.com. You can go there to book a consultation with us.
A free
Consultation is free.
consultation.
Free,
Yes.
that's right. Drop that free. And you can connect with any one of our wonderful clinicians if you are interested in unpacking some of those bags that you're carrying. We're here to help.
Definitely. Thank
So,
you,
Pia,
everyone.
we're going to do this for the folks. This is our first episode. I'm so excited that we finally got this off the ground. But let's tell
Oh
people,
my.
what they can expect, what's to come before we close out. We're going to be doing dropping an episode every Friday. Okay, y'all?
Mm-hmm.
So we want you to send in your suggestions of topics you want us to talk about.
That would be great.
Hit us up on Instagram, interact with us. We are live and we will respond. We're
Yeah.
not bots. We will hit you back
Yes.
on our Instagram page. So we hope that you give us some love. And if you like what you hear, make sure to listen on anywhere that you can get your podcast and share with a friend, family, a foe, whoever you can share it with.
Yes.
Share the episodes and keep the conversation going about what makes you human.
Human. Until next time, I'm Pia. Thank
And
you
I'm
for tuning
Ayanna.
in. See you later.
Bye, y'all.